Hi, everyone. My name is Kaylee Taylor, and I'm very excited to be here tonight. I always love participating in the Walrus Talks because I hold a unique position of being a Canadian who runs a global not-for-profit. So I get to remind all of us that even though we're Canadian and we have our Canadian values, what we do here has massive impacts across the globe, and we always have to remember that. So in preparing for my talk tonight, I decided that I had one goal, and that was to leave you all with a deeper understanding and appreciation for why we're even talking about energy in the first place. Now, you might think that sounds pretty obvious, but it's human nature to skip to symptoms before even looking at the causes. And I think that's so often what we do in energy. In all my years of working in the energy industry, I've realized that most people don't actually care about energy. You all obviously do to some degree because you're here, but in general, most people don't. And the reason for that is because society doesn't actually place enough emphasis on how important it is until things get contentious or controversial. We skip straight to debating whether renewables or hydrocarbons are the best source, or whether the approval of a pipeline is worth it, without even thinking about why energy is desirable in the first place. By definition, energy is the ability to do work, but we often forget that that ability to do work has allowed us as human beings to unleash our creativity and flourish. The trap that I believe we've gotten into is the failure to see this link and instead to see energy as an ends rather than a means to an end. Instead of recognizing that energy is a mechanism that allows us to have comfort and productivity and a variety of other things that keep us happy and safe, we fixate on energy as the endpoint in itself. This, I believe, is the reason why sometimes we're willing to compromise the health of our planet and people in order to produce it. Energy has become easy. When we flick a light switch on, the light comes up. When we're cold, we turn up the thermostat and the room gets warmer. When we are out of gas, we can go around the corner to a service station. Very few of us actually ever think about the complexity of the systems that are behind those easy interfaces and allow all of this to happen. And even fewer of us think about the economic and social implications of those systems. And still, fewer of us recognize that that's indeed a luxury, and that there's still 1 billion people on the planet without access to electricity, and what we experience is fully luxury. Our fixation on energy as an end in itself leads us to miss the point. We don't want to produce oil to have barrels of oil. We produce oil because we want freedom of mobility. We don't produce electricity because we want electricity. We produce it because it allows us to educate ourselves and to communicate. One example is solar lighting in the developing world. Is everything okay? Okay, is energy in the developing world. Solar lanterns are not valuable because they're a piece of plastic and some wires. They're valuable because they allow young children to stay up later and study at night. They're valuable because they allow farmers to check their fields without being bit by a snake. Do you see what I'm getting at? We don't actually care about energy. We care about what it enables us to do, and I believe this is a huge opportunity for us to change the entire discourse around energy and the environment. The discourse has become so highly polarized and highly emotional. But what if we could shift the conversation and take it away from us versus them, environment versus economy, or industrialists versus environmentalists, and instead focus on the way that we as human beings can reach all the things that we want in an efficient way and by using less? What if we could talk about the human side of energy and recognize the actual reasons that we strive for it in the first place? In 2011, the world's population passed 7 billion people. With that tremendous growth, energy demands are growing, and the Earth's capacity to sustain this is quickly shrinking. Put quite simply, our current energy infrastructure does not have the capacity to satisfy the energy appetite within the bounds of our environment's capabilities. One thing is clear: business as usual will not do and cannot be the path forward. There are so many technology and policy options, but if we use the same thinking that got us in this mess, it's not going to be a way to get out of it. It's time to abandon the status quo and get serious about the energy challenges that we tackle. Now more than ever, the clock is ticking and we need action. I believe it is fundamental that we start humanizing energy and making it relevant to people. The reason for this is that if we're going to get creative solutions, we need those who are affected by those solutions to be in the conversation, and they won't be unless they're informed. Today's world leaders may be setting the 2030 and 2050 emissions targets, but it doesn't take long to do the math and realize that it will be my generation who's in charge of meeting them. We need to be brought to the table now because it's our responsibility and it's our future. We all have the responsibility to the generations who will inherit the planet after us, and we choose the legacy that we'll leave. I believe that if we can look at energy more holistically, as a means rather than an end, we'll be able to take the first step in this transformation. I guarantee you one thing, this is not going to be easy. Striking the balance between energy and environment is precocious and is going to be very difficult. It's going to require commitment and vision, creativity, positivity, pragmatism, and collaboration. But I have seen glimmers of hope in the current system, and I've seen the magnitude of change that can come from the next system. I'm up for the challenge. Are you?